Virgin Radio 80s Plus.
The first track on your list is Tina Turner, The Best. Why this one?
You know, it's such an anthem. First of all, Tina, I mean, what a loss this year, but what an example of how to live your life and overcome. You just hear all that Tina grit and enthusiasm in that song. And I think that we have those people in our lives. It's like, you're the best. You're my favorite. There's no other way of putting it. And that song just, to me, encapsulates that.
And what did she mean to you as a female, as a strong female, and as an artist? And as somebody, she was such a survivor.
That's the thing. She was such a warrior and a survivor. And, you know, when she told Ike, I want nothing but my name. I want to leave with my name. Because her name was her integrity. Her name was that thing she built. Her name was her relationship to her fans. And what I also loved about her was, as refined as a woman as she was, she kept her rough around the edges style and charm. And so I've drawn from that, because I'll pair a couture jacket with some raggedy denim mini skirt and a, you know, kind of raggedy ponytail extension. Like, I always looked at her as being regal but accessible, and yes. I loved that about her.
Debbie Gibson's with me. We're doing my 80s playlist all this week. Debbie, we've got to chat about Madonna. You said a moment ago that you won tickets to see Madonna. Yes. Which, can you remember the tour? Can you remember the impact that the tour had on you?
It was the Like a Virgin tour, and it was at Radio City Music Hall, and I won 2 tickets, and my niece and my little sister said, well, we want to go too, and my mom wasn't going to let me take one of them. I said, I'm going to call and win 2 more, and I did. It was so crazy. But, you know, Madonna, like, when I think about, and again, it's so easy to hear a story and not envision it actually happening. When I think about her going to Danceteria, handing Jelly Bean, who I worked with over the years too, handing Jelly Bean a demo tape and and to see what she's doing now, I'm just going to jump ahead for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, her voice right now sounds incredible live. Like, I heard some clips from her recent.
Well, I've got to tell you, I went to all 4 of the London gigs, all 4 of them. So just the other week. So it is the most incredible show. You know, like, so the thing is, she doesn't tend to look back and celebrate everything she's done. And with this show, she does. It's a nod to all of her achievements and all the different chapters.
That's so great. Yeah, I've seen her live many times, and she never disappoints. And again, like, I use this word lineage. I'm in her lineage. I'm a part of her lineage. She was forging the path before me. The great singer-songwriters like Carly Simon and Carole King, they were forging the path before me. But I look at Madonna as that, you know, she kind of was like, all right, I'm not really a singer, but I'm going to learn how to sing because I want to entertain. And she's become quite the accomplished vocalist now, in my opinion, but she never lost her authenticity. Like, there's one Madonna, it's her sound. Borderline for me was just pure pop perfection. I had the sheet music sitting out on my piano to that song. And so I chose that and chose Madonna. She's a queen to all of us who, you know, followed in her court.
And a quick question as we go into Borderline. Have you ever met her? Have you worked with her? Have your paths crossed?
I have met her. I met her a couple of times. I met her literally crisscrossing, oddly enough, at a voice lesson. We studied with the same teacher in New York City. I ran into her at a Vanilla Ice concert, which was a funny place to run into her, and she was lovely there. And I ran into her at that infamous, I think it was a Gautier show where she flashed everybody. I ran into her there. So yes, I've met her over the years. I don't think we ever got a picture together, oddly. We just said hellos. But she's always been a pro and super nice to me.
Now, you put Only in My Dreams down on this. I've got a couple of questions. Yes. I love this song, number 1. But I've heard a few things about this. I heard that so first question is it true that you did a demo in your home of this song?
I did. And, you know, I demoed all of my stuff in my home, but this one was, you know, I was writing songs that were very kind of sing-songy, almost like your school choir could record them. And I remember the day I got this Lynn drum machine, which was any like techie music people out there will be like, oh my God, it was like the holy grail of drum machines. And I learned how to program it, and I programmed this little beat. And I was like, today I am writing a song that is going to be on the radio. Wow. Like, I set out to do that. Now, normally I'm inspired by something in life, a line, come up with a lyric or something. This was unabashedly me wanting to be on the radio. I started that little drum groove and I just went, every time I'm telling secrets. It just flew out of my mouth. I didn't quite know what it meant. I still have the phrase, it sang well. It sang well. It felt like the opening line of a hit song to me. I just let it lead me down the path, and Only in My Dreams was born.
Wow. And you were 16 and you'd never actually had a boyfriend up until now, and yet you wrote these brilliant lyrics.
Thank you. And I actually wrote that at 13. Wow. So the day I wrote it and did the demo, I was 13, and it came out at 16. Yeah.
And it got you a huge hit, didn't it? Huge around the world.
It did. It was a slow process, though, like slow compared to, again, how things happen now. It was 9 months of 3 clubs a night, 4 nights a week, singing it to, 200 drunken people at a time. I would do a teen club, a straight club, a gay club. And slowly, it started to be like, oh, who's this girl? And what's this song? And then, we did the remixes and DJs started picking it up and started, radio started kind of, but it was so grassroots and it was so much work. Like by the time that 9 months was done and it was starting to break, I was as exhausted as anyone in a 9-year career. I mean, it was a very intense time to get it heard, because how do you get things heard when there's no social media and there weren't even cell phones, for God's sakes. You can't even text people and go, hey, request my song. My dad was like stuffing mailboxes at TWA Airlines saying, here's the request lines, call for my daughter's song. So we really had an old school grassroots campaign that made just enough noise to start the machine going.
Wham. Tell me everything.
Well, it's funny. I was just going to segue into that myself, just because comparing Shake Your Love, like, when I heard Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, I stopped in my tracks. I remember going down. So I walked in from school, and downstairs was a TV room, and I turned on the TV right to MTV, which is, what I always did. And Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, the video came on, and I was like, oh my freaking God.
Yeah.
Who is the band? Now, you didn't know if there were like 30 people in it or 2 people, because just everybody was dancing. It was a big party. And George was obviously so magnetic, but the song, my songwriter heart was like, I wish I wrote this song. My God, like there'll never be a catchier song in all of the history of catchy songs, in my opinion. It's so incredible. I perform it live sometimes. It's so much fun. Tambourines
I was actually going to ask you if you do covers. What are the staple Debbie Gibson covers? If I went to see you, what do you like doing?
So I used to do an 80s medley with like Time of My Life and Billie Jean and Like a Virgin. But nowadays I do a big ABBA medley that's like a mega mix. Like, what a mega mix is from all the West End musicals that do mega mixes. It's 8.5 minutes. It is a freight train of ABBA. And you don't know how long it is until, it just, every song is greatness. Wow. So the reason rediscovered ABBA in my life and started performing them is because I was on Masked Singer on ABBA Night this past year. Yes. And I sang Fernando, and I was like, God, my voice and ABBA together works. Yeah. It really works. So, and it's just impossible for an audience to not be in a euphoric state during an 8.5 minute ABBA medley. So that is the main thing I do in terms of covers. And then holiday shows, of course, I do like Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which I duet with my dad on. Oh, wow. He's 80 and he's got this amazing untrained crooner voice. But yeah, the ABBA thing is the main thing. Occasionally I throw in Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
So Prince, Nothing Compares, your final track on the list. Tell me about Prince. Tell me about this song.
Of course I love Sinead's version, and we all love it, and prayers up to Sinead. But yeah, there's always something about like the OG. When I heard Prince's version, and I heard it again by accident recently, I just was in awe. Again, I use this word a lot for the artist I picked this week, but transcendent, just like you just hear the pain and you hear the love and you hear the longing and I did get to meet Prince at the time where he was speaking through his bodyguard. So I was new to Atlantic and new to the pop music scene. I was this little girl, like I said, just fresh off of winning concert tickets on the radio myself. And suddenly there's Prince, and his bodyguard comes up to me and says, Prince would like to say hello to you. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go up to him and I'm like, but I knew I was supposed to talk to the bodyguard. So I'm like, hi, tell Prince hi. And then he talked back, and and so it was so awkwardly fun and funny and incredible. And listen, it's always been my secret fantasy to do like Prince and just like lock myself in a room for 10 years and become a master of every instrument under the sun, which he was, and so he was his own lane. And again, another icon. Listen, look at all the people we've highlighted today who are gone: David Bowie, Michael Hutchins, Whitney, Prince, Michael. It's so sad, but thank God I got to be alive on this planet in the era of those great artists. I really am. And I got to rub shoulders with them.
And the other thing I was going to say is, seeing Madonna last week, a lot of people were in tears the moment when she came on stage, because the point is there aren't many more left like her, of her ilk, and what she's been through recently. And, it was an emotional moment to see her looking so well. Yeah, people are so quick to be critical, and it's like, to be a female in this industry and to sustain into your 60s is no easy party trick, and she's doing it she is the pioneer of staying relevant and staying cutting edge and true to herself. She loves a little shock value and drama and theatrics, and she never disappoints. Belinda Carlisle's another one. She's a friend of mine, and look at her. And Susanna Hoffs, look at her. These women in their 60s who are like 60s is the new 40s, so I bet that was emotional, because it is like, I've witnessed Madonna live, and it is being in the presence of greatness. And a lot of those icons, a lot of her friends are gone, and her peers. So I'm just getting a little text rolling in that I've got to do my next interview. Yes, listen, thank you so much. I was just going to say, lots of love, thank you, and come over and see us, and I'll keep in touch via your publicist. But Debbie Gibson, we love you, thank you, and you've been wonderful.